Elon Musk does not blow up the moon. I guess we can all be grateful. Surrogate mother McKenna West. You remember the mom of a baby Gabriel? Gabriel? I guess it's a he, so it would be Gabriel. Anyway, she's being sued for breach of contract, refusing to abort baby Gabriel. Gabriel. And Columbia House. Remember Columbia House? They're finally closing. So, Gen X and we boomers, you're finally off the hook. Welcome to the Jay Sheldon Show. It's a Friday. We are live on Rumble and YouTube. Please, it's free. Give us a follow on Rumble and a subscribe on YouTube. Just look up the Jay Sheldon Show if you're on one platform or the other, and switch over and give us a like and a follow and a thumbs up, and it all helps. It's all free, and it really does help the show a lot. We appreciate that. All right. You ready? We're going to get into it. It's a Friday. When it was announced that the spent Falcon 9's second stage from the January 15th of last year's Falcon 9 launch, that was the one that carried the Firefly Aerospace Blue Ghost Mission 1 and iSpace's Hakuto R Mission 2 Resilience lunar landers, it was announced they were going to impact the moon in one of the libration zones, they call it, I guess. Anyway, that part of the lunar surface that is only sometimes visible from Earth. And it led to a lot of excitement. People were pulling their hair out for the good and the bad. On one hand, a lot of space and astronomy enthusiasts were very excited to see whether or not it would actually be visible, this impact with the moon. And on the other hand, a whole bunch of others were offended and they were frightened. Those people seemed to fall into three camps: people who were offended that Elon was disturbing the pristine surface of the moon, which ought to be like, I don't know, what, a national park or something, maybe. Native American cosplayers who said the moon was a goddess and should not be violated. You never want to violate a goddess, if you know what I mean. And people who were sure that this great, big, huge rocket hitting the moon would lead to absolute devastation, making future moon colonies uninhabitable, possibly resulting in rains of meteors, creating havoc here on Earth. Oh my God. Well, August 5th, just a couple weeks ago, the upper Falcon stage impacted the moon at about 9.5 degrees north, 266.7 degrees east, and spoiler alert, the moon didn't blow up. Honestly, hardly anybody even noticed. The impact made a crater about 18 meters across and 3 meters deep. Just so you can do some rough math, a meter is about 3 feet or so. Well, anyway, if you insist, here, 60 feet across and 10 feet deep. That's the American numbers. About half the size of an Olympic swimming pool. And if the moon goddess had any complaints, she didn't register them with NASA or SpaceX. So I think we're pretty okay when it comes to the moon goddess. But the NASA Lunar Resistance Orbiter got some really cool pictures. The showiest one, undoubtedly NASA's LRO's before and after picture. Let us see. Can we go large screen on that? Hang on just one quick second as I try and. Why will this not pull up in a large screen view? Huh. Hang on. That's really odd. Let's go to the NASA site, see if we can see it there. That's not it. This worked before. What the hell? All right. It's a GIF, that's why. Let's try it again, see if it'll work. This is the surface of the moon as the SpaceX piece of material hits it, if you can even bother to see. You see right in the center? Watch very closely. One, boom, there. That's it. That's the little crater right there. Sorry, it really wasn't worth all that time. Oh man. They also published some images with different lighting, which I think the coolest ones show how that material was scattered towards the bottom right. The impactor came in from the top left. Here are those pictures at 105 degrees, 90 degrees, 53, and there's that bottom left one and bottom right that shows some of the impact. Now, to be honest, I think this was another exhibit of Elon derangement, symptoms. It leads people to key Teslas, blow up Cybertrucks, and set fires to Tesla dealerships, basically. Ever since Musk supported Trump, helped establish Doge, the left has been elevating Trump to be probably the second most evil man in history, right behind Trump and ahead of Hitler, who at least Hitler hated the Jews. The Falcon 9 second stage, it weighed only 4,000 kilograms, 4 metric tons, about 8,700 pounds. And it was hardly the first thing that humans have made that hit the moon. Among them, Saturn 4B, third stage for Apollos 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. Each one about 14 metric tons, more than 4 times as big as this piece. Multiple lunar module ascent stages, about 2 metric tons. A Ranger 6-9, weighing in at 350 kilograms each. I remember seeing those pictures on TV and Look and Life magazine and things. Anyway, all in all, it seemed to have been a big disappointment that, sorry, Elon did not blow up the moon. So, there you go. And frankly, at the end of the day, Elon doesn't care anyway. I mean, in a laughing, joking way, Elon doesn't care. We just learned what was behind the FBI warrant, if you haven't heard by now, for Eric Swalwell. Oh, Eric. Oh, Fung Fung Dater Eric. Oh, you are in deep caca. You really are. This is not going to be good, my friend. By the way, he's almost totally broke. Things are getting more interestinger and interestinger by the hour in the case of Eric Swalwell, former Democrat rep. Agents from the FBI were waiting for Swalwell when he arrived at San Francisco's International Airport over the weekend. Now, we knew that agents had seized his electronics devices, part of an ongoing federal investigation into sexual misconduct allegations that have been made against him. The FBI agents also searched Swalwell's Washington, D.C. home and reportedly seized additional evidence, like you needed any. We're now learning a lot more about the search warrant for those behind the seizures, and there is one detail in particular that is raising some very uncomfortable questions for Mr. Eric. According to a copy that was obtained by the San Francisco Standard, Agents seized Swalwell's iPhone and MacBook Pro on Saturday night. The warrant had been filed on August 13th in the Northern District of California and certified by an FBI agent assigned to the Bureau's Public Corruption and Civil Rights Squad in San Fran. Now, that information on its own is very interesting. But here's where things get even more interesting. The Swalwell search warrant was apparently issued under 18 U.S.C. 242, which is a federal civil rights statute that applies when somebody uses their government authority to deprive another person of their rights provided to them either by the Constitution or by federal law. Now, that statute very often is used against law enforcement officers who are accused of abusing their authority. For example, the standards point out that the officers involved in George Floyd's death were charged under that very same statute, which is not strictly limited to the police. The standard also referred to the case of former Waterbury, Connecticut Mayor Philip Giordano. Waterbury, Connecticut is about 20 minutes south of where I lived in Torrington, Connecticut, for many, many, many years. Anyway, he was charged, the mayor of Waterbury, convicted under the 242 statute back in 2003 for using his office and his connections to police to intimidate two girls he had sexually abused, shall we say, into not ratting him out. Now, important to note here that authorities have not accused Swalwell of doing anything similar, nor does the reference to the statute on the warrant indicate he committed a similar crime. Nevertheless, it is, as I said, a very interesting development. Tony Brass, former federal prosecutor, spoke to the Standard paper, and the statute could potentially come into play if investigators believe Swalwell used his position in Congress to intimidate witnesses or somehow interfere with another person's rights. Between the involvement of the FBI's Public Corruption and Civil Rights Squad and that statute that is cited in the warrant, this may very well turn out to be a lot more than just sexual misconduct allegations. Swalwell, of course, denied everything. With FBI's digging through his electronic devices and his home, it's becoming quite clear that the investigations have some rather serious questions to ask about his actions. So we will keep an eye on this important story as Mr. Swalwell gets his husband's rather disastrous 2024 debate performance. She thinks it's possible he might have been drugged. Recent interview with podcast host Jamie Kern-Lima, the only doctor less qualified than Doctors Fauci and or Pepper to offer medical assessment, was asked if a stroke had been ruled out by, actual medical professionals. Well, they did. They said, I didn't, this is Jill Biden. I didn't say to them when I was writing my book, I was reflecting, but I didn't say, God, did Joe have a stroke? I just asked, is he okay? Biden replied. She further suggested that nobody really knows what happened on that fateful night. There's all kinds of theories, she says. He's been traveling. I know he was tired. He didn't feel well that day when I saw him, but there was nothing definitive that I could point to. This is Jill Biden, Dr. Jill. And I had been on the road for 2 weeks up until that moment, so I wasn't with him. I didn't see him days before, weeks before. I saw him maybe 1 hour before. Well, then the host, Lima, asked whether somebody might have laced Uncle Joe's beverage of choice with maybe pulverized oatmeal beforehand. And she said, "Oh, there's no way anybody could have, God forbid, laced his drink or something." She said, "Who knows? Who knows?" You know, it's not like there's anybody within rather close proximity of the former president with heavily dabbling histories in drugs, right? Or anything like that. I mean, it was cocaine found in the White House, after all, not an Ambien. Speaking of which, Jill's comments very, very similar to the same theory Hunter Biden had as to why Joe lost his ever loving mind during that debate. He said, Hunter, "I'll tell you what, I know exactly what happened in that debate. He flew around the world basically, and the mileage could have flown around the world 3 times. He's 81 years old. He's tired as shit. They give him the Ambien. Somebody in the vicinity of the sitting president of the United States may have drugged him," which would seem rather worthy of an investigation, yeah. National Library of Medicine warns Ambien, the drug Hunter flat out states was given to his father prior to American Geriatric Society, Beer's criteria, also lists Ambien as a medication to avoid in adults 65 or older whenever possible, citing heightened risks of falls, fractures, delirium, and more severe effects, including potential overdose complications. Delirium causes severe confusion, trouble focusing, changes in awareness, and the debate about, 2 years ago now, featured Biden going on this meandering monologue about God knows what and ending his thoughts with, "We finally beat Medicare." Trump later quipped, "I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence, and I don't think he knows what he said either." Could he have been drugged repeatedly and consistently throughout his White House tenure? Now, to quote Dr. Jill, who knows? Trump, you might recall, repeatedly suggested Biden might have been pumped up with drugs for the debate, even demanding tests too. I don't care. Drug tests for Crooked Joe, he posed on social media ahead of the contest. I would also immediately agree to one. ABC News at the time described Trump's comment as baseless claims, while Biden's campaign rejected the pre debate drug test, calling his opponent's suggestions desperate. Turns out he might very well have been onto something. Uh, who knows, as Dr. Jill says. What a knucklehead. What a maroon. All right, grab yourself a hot, fresh cup of Blackout coffee and we'll talk about it coming up. Blackout coffee, America's best coffee. I'm telling you, this stuff is amazing. Oh, man, that's good. Blackout Coffee is an American company, and they have been around for years and years. They've got tons of 5-star ratings. They grow the best beans at the right soil, the right altitude, the right temperature, and the right conditions. And they only pick the top 80% premium beans. So fantastic coffee. It is, of course, they've got flavored coffees, all kinds of great flavors. You got to check out the website, which is in our description down below. They've got pods, of course. And by the way, not just coffee whole beans roasted, you can option to have them ground for you. So if you can't grind your own, You're still good to go. And if you want, head over to the website in our description down there and use the code J20. That'll get you 20% off your first order at Blackout Coffee. 20% with the code J20. Use the link in our description and check out Blackout Coffee. It really full flavored, full bodied, never ever bitter. Really great coffee. My favorite is the rich black espresso, pitch black espresso, it's actually called. And check out what maybe your favorite roast. And don't forget their coffee subscriptions too, which is a brilliant idea. All right. This is a wackadoodle report, but somehow I'm not surprised. The surrogate mother, McKenna West, is now being sued for breach of contract because she refused to abort baby Gabriel. McKenna West, we've been covering this story on this program since the beginning. She fled to Texas, in case you missed it, to avoid the contracted parents, Nausheen Gilkar and Omar Ahmed, when they asked her to abort the pre-born baby because they discovered a congenital heart defect. She is now being sued by those same two idiot parents for breach of contract. They're looking for $100,000 and other specified damages. Who exactly is in this nightmare scenario suffering damage? Lila Rose posted, hardly 1 week postpartum, McKenna should be resting in bed, holding her newborn boy, surrounded by nothing but love and support. Instead, she is separated from the baby under a restraining order and being dragged to court and sued for $100,000+. They agreed to pay West $60,000 to carry their child, with an abortion clause that allowed them to terminate the pregnancy if there were issues with the fetus, according to the lawsuit. The baby thankfully was born August 12th. West named him Gabriel, but the biological parents insist his name is Rumi, R-U-M-I, Rumi. Gilkar and Ahmed are asking a judge to award them more than $100,000 in damages from McKenna for breaking the deal, plus unspecified damages for her alleged malicious, outrageous conduct. What do you mean, saving the life of a child? Yeah, how outrageous. With these two absolute scummy knuckleheads, I'm not surprised in the least. Oh, good. Here's some news you'll love. Google is making it easier for political fundraising emails to get in your inbox. Election season email is about to get really bad. After years of Republicans' complaints about bias spam filtering, Google is giving political fundraisers a way to get around Gmail's usual spam filters. Google's verified sender program opens September 8th to qualifying candidates, parties, political action committees, and a lot of other political groups. Approved senders will get to bypass Gmail's spam filters. The program starts in about 56 days before the November 3rd midterm elections. Google posted the change to its Help Center on Monday of this week. No formal announcement, just quietly slipped it in there, and also began contacting political committees the very same day, according to people familiar with the outreach. Here's how Google framed it. This program is designed to connect people with the emails they want to receive. Users can still unsubscribe, block the sender, or mark the message as spam. But until they do, approved political mail gets a better shot at getting in your inbox. Campaigns don't get an unlimited pass. Google's going to require participants to keep their spam compliant rate below 0.3% over a 14-day average. Google calls it a feature. Yeah. Republicans call it overdue. Gmail users call it something else entirely, I'm sure. I am a Gmail user myself. I have a couple of accounts. Democrat strategist Kenneth Pennington wasn't very pleased. Gmail users are going to be flooded with unwanted political spam because Google decided to create a VIP lane for spam campaigners. Unbelievable. So get ready. It's out there right now. And your inbox, if you notice, it's a little more flooded than usual with the spam crap. That's why. You can thank Google, as usual. Man, I don't even know why we try. Seriously. FBI has disrupted an ISIS-inspired terrorist attack on the New York State House. No, I'm not kidding. 35-year-old Albany, New York woman is in federal custody for allegedly planting a bomb in the state Capitol building while the lawmakers were inside. There's a very thin amount of details so far on this story, but I'll give you what we know and some choice reactions. A Fox News breaker reported the FBI told the network that a suspect named Jessica Bowie plotted to kill New York lawmakers after she pledged allegiance to ISIS, more accurately known as the Islamic State, in Iraq and Syria. Bowie allegedly planned to hide a bomb inside a DoorDash bag, hoping to strike while state senators were meeting. Wednesday, she allegedly bought from two FBI informants what she thought was an explosive device. It was actually inert, according to the Bureau. She was given a non-functioning handgun also. Man. Tom Winter over at NBC News posted that Bowie is expected in court at 2 p.m. today to face a single count of material support for ISIS, which means the hearing might still be going on. I don't know, it could be going on now for all I know. Winter added the FBI says Bowie wanted to bomb the New York State House in the name of ISIS, and they say she praised the September 11th attacks. She says, this is the account linked to Bowie, posted, "Praise be to Allah in September 11th." According to Newsweek, that same report continued. Several social media accounts linked to Bowie posted messages indicating support for terrorism between May and July, according to the criminal complaint, which was unsealed yesterday. Now, I have not been able to locate any of these social media accounts. They may have been deleted. In photos just published online by the New York Post, Bowie's seen on what appears to be video surveillance purchasing nails at a hardware store. And nails are very often used to improvise explosive devices to serve as shrapnel, very deadly shrapnel. It isn't entirely clear from the grainy images whether Bowie's face and body have been blacked out or whether she's just wearing a hijab or some similar garment. It appears to be a burqa, a hijab. According to the criminal complaint, Bowie also allegedly tracked the Capitol building for weeks taking pictures from various vantage points, including an observation hall nearby. Not clear how blowing up some state legislators advances the cause of ISIS, but you never know what goes on in these wackadoodle minds. So, Governor Hochul expected to address the situation. Crazy. Nick Sorter on X said, "What the hell is going on with women right now?" Sorter wanted to know after watching this clip of the protest outside the Lindsay Clancy trial, which seems, Nick, to be a very fair question, actually. What the hell is going on with women? True that. Democrats' Act Blue scandal. You remember Act Blue, right? What a nightmare. Well, it just went from bad to a whole lot worse. Man, this is insane. Pleading the Fifth Amendment in front of Congress seems to be all the rage for the left these days. We just had Dr. Mengele Fauci do it 111 times as he refused to answer questions about his role in the COVID-19 pandemic, including U.S. funding for controversial virus research in Wuhan and whether he'd previously misled Congress about it. Well, now the folks at the scandal-ridden Act Blue are apparently getting into the act too. Co-founder refusing to answer questions in a closed-door deposition before 3 House committee members. Comes just a few months after the company's CEO pulled a Fauci and pled the Fifth when appearing in front of the Committee on House Administration. For context, Act Blue is the main online funding platform used by the Democrats to process literally billions of dollars in small donor donations for Democrat candidates, committees, left-wing organizations. Act Blue CEO Regina Wallace-Jones uttered one phrase over and over to congressional investigators. "On the advice of my counsel, I respectfully decline to answer this question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution." Yesterday, Wallace-Jones' colleague, former platform co-founder Matt DeBergalis, did exactly the same thing. Behind closed doors appearance before the Committee on House Administration, addressing allegations that substandard fraud prevention standards allowed foreign donations to land in the coffers of left-wing candidates and causes. The investigators apparently got absolutely nothing, and nowhere with this guy left the room after only 30 minutes. Again, pleading the Fifth the whole way through. I know. All right. Here's a company that does not plead the Fifth. They are out there. They are proud to be America's only Christian conservative mobile cell phone network. And that, my friends, is Patriot Mobile.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Nationwide 4G and 5G coverage, no matter where you are in this country, Patriot Mobile's got you covered. You keep your phone, you keep your phone number, nothing changes except where your money goes, and that's Patriot Mobile's Christian conservative beliefs, the First and Second Amendment, the right to life, all that stuff you and I believe in and fight for every day of our lives. They are right there with us in that fight. Patriot Mobile, get signed up today. Use that link down in our description. If you don't see it, just hit description, see more, and it will pull down. You'll see Patriot Mobile there. Use that link and use the code JAY. That will get you your first month of service free. Yes, I'm paying your first month's bill if you use our link and sign up for Patriot Mobile. Nothing changes. You get the same great coverage. You keep your phone and your phone number, but the money that you pay every month in your bill goes to causes you and I believe in. Use that code, use that link, and get your first month free at Patriot Mobile. Thanks, Patriot Mobile, for being a part of it. We love you guys. All right. Do you and I remember this only too well? I don't know how many times I got, I think in the beginning it was cassettes. And then eventually, when CDs became the rage, I got CDs from a company known as Columbia House. You remember? You buy like that. I mean, you place an order for like a penny and you get like 10, 20, 30, 50 CDs or cassettes at the time. And then you just get obligated to buy X amount more over the course of however many years or months. Well, I fully admit I ordered these CDs. I got them in the mail. They all came. And then I don't think I ordered a single other full price plus CD. Yeah, I am a bad person. Well, guess what? If you are a Gen Xer or a boomer, you're probably in the same boat I am. You owe Columbia House a lot of money after all these years. Guess what? You're off the hook. Columbia House is finally closing. Gen Xers, boomers, another hallmark of our younger days is going away. And again, most of us would be surprised to know that it was even still around. This story surprised the hell out of me that they still existed. Y'all remember those ads we talked about just now in the magazines, Sunday papers? Get 7 records or tapes for a penny. And then a list of options for the records or the tapes and later CDs. They wanted, and all you had to do was attach a penny and send it in. And if you were young enough, you probably missed the fact that you were actually signing up for a subscription service. And I'll bet most of us, like I just admitted I did, completely abandoned that subscription. Now, truth be told, teenage Chris probably owed hundreds of dollars to Columbia House. There's no telling how much money Columbia House thought it would rake in, but they didn't. Now that penny so many of us traded for records and tapes and CDs back in the day, Columbia House soon will become a thing of the past. That's right. On September 15th, Columbia House, which still exists, will finally shut the doors. Mail order music and media club Columbia House will no longer be accepting new orders after September 15th. ending the popular way for consumers to purchase media. Who buys CDs or records anymore? Everybody downloads or listens online. A message posted on the Columbia House website reads, after September 15, 2026, the Columbia House will no longer be accepting new orders. You can still purchase books with your credit card or credits as normal. Folks, Columbia House, listen to this. They have been around for 71 years. Wow. They trace their roots back to 1955 with Columbia Records, then a part of CBS. They launched the Columbia Record Club, which is an experimental mail order service, and the goal was to get out and reach the rural and the suburban communities, the customers who lacked easy access to record stores, while competing with other direct marketing efforts outside the traditional music industry. And if you were an early member, you got promotional offers that included free or low cost options in exchange for committing to purchase a set of additional titles at regular club prices. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking what I was thinking. Why Columbia House is still around? That's because Columbia House shifted its model, adding videotapes, DVDs, and Blu rays, eventually shifted primarily to physical video. Today, Columbia House specializes in rather obscure Blu ray and DVD titles. My last laptop or two didn't even come with a DVD or a CD player. Not anymore. They don't. Streaming has changed the way people consume media these days. It's convenient. It also puts us at the mercy of woke studios that may or may not alter or take down content that the cultural overlords have determined is offensive or maybe outdated. But the de emphasis on physical media, combined with the ubiquity of Walmart and Target, Amazon, you don't buy physical media anymore. I don't. I haven't in years, decades. Like Columbia House, little choice, but to shut down, which when you think about it, is a little bittersweet. I mean, maybe if we all took up a collection of what our younger selves owed Columbia House, we could keep it afloat. I'll bet they would make a tiny profit if those of us who really owed Columbia a whole bunch of money actually wound up paying it. I'll bet they'd be happy to have it too. We're done. We're finished. We're out of here. It's Friday. Man, I cannot wait. The weekend is here. Spend it with someone you love, won't you? Enjoy it. And we'll be back here on Monday with that edition of the show. Thank you so much, folks. Be sure and hit subscribe or follow on YouTube and or Rumble. Of course, check out our sponsors. We don't have a marketing budget here, so if you'd like to help donate to the show to keep our lights on and keep us free, you can do that at the top link in our description. It's a PayPal account, which is totally safe and secure. Just use your credit card, your bank account, and you can send us a donation. We would appreciate that very much. We're a small operation. Any amount really does help. Thanks. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you Monday.